Hello everybody, so today I'm going to teach you guys how to make your Gans 356 not suck. So yeah, let's get right into it. Alright, so here are some things you're going to need to make a Gans 356 not suck. You're going to need obviously your Gans 356, you need some lube. I'm using weight 4, which is also mixed with a little bit of weight 2. A screwdriver with a small head Phillips screw. You're going to need your tensioning tool that comes with Gans 356, or if you don't have that, you can use a pair of pliers. And then you're probably going to want some paper towel with that too. Optional stuff you're going to need is a towel so you can lay it on your mat and make sure your mat doesn't get dirty. Something to drink, because you're probably going to want something to drink when you do this mod. I prefer Coca-Cola. So you might need some headphones, because I know people like to mod to music. So headphones are optional, but they're not fully needed. So yeah, let's get started. Alright, so the first thing you're going to do is take apart the cube, which is pretty self-explanatory. So you're just going to take all the center caps off, and then you're going to take your tension tool or pliers, whatever you have, and unscrew one side, and be sure that the washer does not go flying. I've had that happen to me a couple times, and it is a pain in the butt to find. And one time I actually had to order another set from the cubicle because I lost them. So usually try and push down to it, and then you see that the washer and the nut comes into the casing there. You can just take off the spring, and then the center comes off, and basically you can just take the side off and turn the cube, and all the pieces fall out. And then you can just take out the rest of the center pieces, which is really self-explanatory. So yeah, let me do that real quick. Alright, so one trick you can do is if your nut and your washer is stuck inside your little tensioning tool, you can actually take the core, you can actually just place it in, you can just kind of like wedge it out, just kind of like that, and then it comes right out. Alright, so after you take apart the core, you should have 6 nuts, you should have 6 center pieces, 6 springs, and then 6 washers, but I only have 3. But if you lose any washers, it's not that big of a deal, they're not really necessary. So yeah, let's get on to lubing the core. Alright, so what you're going to do is you're going to take a centerpiece, a spring, a plastic nut, and a washer. So let me just zoom into that real quick. There, so that's all you're gonna need right there. And now you're gonna take your lube. Again, I'm using weight 4, and then here I need to do a little bit of that. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna take just a little bit of lube, for example, just that much, and you're gonna run around the ring. If you can focus, run around the ring on the bottom just like this. Just go around a little cylinder and just lube right there, because that's where the spring is going to be. So yeah, maybe just a little bit more lube, not a whole lot, just make sure you just run it all the way around that circle right there. If it focuses. Alright, perfect. Then what you're going to do is you're going to take your spring, and then of course just place it right on there. And then of course it's going to spin on that. Now what you're going to do is you're going to place this onto your core like so. Now what you're going to do is you're going to take, again, the same amount of lube, not a whole lot, just like that, and then you're going to run it across the top of the spring. You're just going to want to lube the entire top of the spring. This is a little bit tricky. Alright, so after you lube the top of the spring, you're going to take your washer here, and then you're going to place the bezeled part on top of the spring like that. So the flat part is on top and the bezel part is on the bottom. So next what you're going to do is take your plastic nut and try and screw it in just a little bit to the core, and then you can always take your tension tool or your pliers and tension it, and you want to get the top of the plastic nut to be level with the top of the core arm, if that makes any sense. So just about there. So yeah, just do that for all 6 core arms. Alright, so if you don't have the washer for the screws and springs, all you're going to do is just take your nut and just place it on. It's not that big of a deal. I don't feel any difference between the sides that do and don't have the washers. It's just makes it a little bit rougher, but it's very, very, very non-existent. Alright, so here you can see I finished off the core, and now we're going to move on to the corners. Alright, so when you first get the corners, the screws are going to be screwed in all the way. But what you're going to do is you're going to just take your small Phillips screwdriver, and then you're going to loosen it just a little bit, maybe about 4 wrist turns. And then if you can, just pull on it. You should hear a click. Mine isn't clicking, but sometimes you will hear a click, and then this should help up with some of the locks on the cube. If you're a question, there's an optional mod you can do. You can sand off the tabs on the corner stocks, so it doesn't catch as much on the centerpiece. It's not necessary, but it does again help out with some of the locking on the cube. Alright, so now we're getting on cube assembly. This is kind of self-explanatory. Just pull on one edge, on one center, not an edge, what am I saying? Pull on the center. This is kind of tricky though. And place it in, and then again, kind of place like that so it's in between these two centers. And then I suggest doing it on the opposite side so this one stays up. And then of course you're just going to finish off the core, and I suggest holding it like this so that these two edges don't fall out. So you're just going to pull up on this center and place that in. And when you have 3 in, I suggest putting in also a corner and then the other corner. And then finishing off the edges, the F12s, like so. And of course, put one in on this side. And then, again, corner, edge, and then you're going to leave this edge out. And then you're just going to place an edge on top. So just pull up on the centerpiece on top. So edge, corner, edge, corner, edge. And then what you're going to do here is you're again going to take your lube. Again, let me zoom in here just a little bit. So what you're going to do is you're going to take a little bit of lube, just that much, and you're going to run it across the primary part of the plastic here. So just that much of a lube. That's all you really need, because the lube is going to be spreading around. If you want to put more, it's up to you. If you have a lighter lube, such as like weight 1 or weight 2, you might want to put more, but since this is a thicker lube, you don't want to put that much. And then you're going to put that edge in, and then what you're going to do is you're going to take that last edge, and then you're going to again take a little bit amount of lube and place a little bit of lube here, and then again on the opposite side, so that much, place it here, spread it around, and you're going to place a dot on top of this part right here, spread it around, and then again a dot on top of that part. And then of course you're just gonna, let me zoom out, finish it off, you know, place in your corners, and then place in your last edge. Oh yeah, one thing I like to do after I always lube cubes, I usually take a little bit of paper towel, and I usually tend to wipe down the cube because there's going to be lube on the outsides of the pieces, and I usually tend to wash my hands, which I just did. So yeah, we're gonna get to tensioning again and finish up the review. Alright guys, so after you guys are done doing this little mod, I guess I'll call it, you should have little to no locking at all. The cube should be fast but yet controllable, and it's just going to be a really nice cube, better than you liked it before if you had all those locks, but you can see now the blocking barely even happens. If it is gummy, just do a couple of solves, maybe 25 or 35 solves, and then the lube will break in. But yeah guys, if you guys enjoyed this video, please click down below, which will have an average of 5, and also subscribe down below to get notified when I upload new videos. Thanks for watching guys, and I'll see you guys in the next video. See ya.